Yo, what's good, everyone? How are we? Charlie, Binny, Charlie, all the way from England. What are you doing up? How are you, brother? Binny, I too wear a hat. How are we? Everyone like the stream up. Now we have tracked down the man himself. He's busy everywhere. We are here with, if you don't know Speedway, you haven't heard this man commentate, well, you got to get under from that rock. Get out of that rock, mate. We're here with Wade. How are you, mate? Great to have you on. Appreciate it, mate, with your busy schedule. Like you said, you've been all over Australia, down south. Now, let's just talk about last night. You went to the sidecars, yeah? The motorbikes.
Australian Solo Championship,
yeah. How was that?
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night. I was walking through the pits just before we did the broadcast, and the boys all started to fire their bikes up. And you just get that incredible smell, that aroma that goes with it, and the noise and the intensity of it. And I was thinking the last couple of weeks, I've been lucky enough to announce Pro Speedcar Week, Sprintcar Speed Week before that. This weekend is Nitro Funny Cars, Top Fuel Motorcycles, and Top Door Slammer. Next week is the King's Challenge and the Warrnambool Classic. And the week after is Top Fuel. But out of all those things, the thing that really just gets me in the feels is solo motorcycle racing. There's just nothing more gladiator than four boys on them, no brakes, no gears, no fear. It's a phenomenal sport, and it's still so underrated in Australia, which is such a tragedy because we only celebrated the centenary like a week and a bit ago for the sport. So it's been a massive thing. The sport was born in Maitland in New South Wales back in like 1923. And we have, some incredible world champions over the years. And I'm very lucky to call, one of my best friends is Lee and Kylie Adams. And Lee was like a 10 times Australian champion and world number 2. And I got to announce the title last night with Lee Adams and my son Liam, which is super cool. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Mildura is really cool like that, Code, because we've got a car track, Car Speedway, B&S Earthworks, Timber Speedway, and the Olympic Park Motorcycle Speedway, which celebrates its 75th anniversary this year. So I mean, it's a city of about 50,000 people, and it's got 2 speedways. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I have one of my followers, Zach, who, when I first, came about him, played the game with him, he was like, mate, motorbikes, side motorbikes. And I'm like, what are you talking about, mate? And I'm like, they're European. Like, even me, I'm a sprint car dude. That's all. I'm like, speed cars maybe, but I'm sprint cars, right? And I'm like, no, mate, they're European. He goes, no, mate, telling you, Mildura. And then so he was there last night sending me videos. Absolutely rapt about it, this track's 4-star safety rated, mate, all this stuff, like, absolutely loving it. But I agree, most dirt track racing in Australia is underrated, but, especially the bikes, mate. Like, I wouldn't even know it's on if he didn't tell me, you know what I mean? And that's sad. Yeah. It's very sad how that works.
I get asked a lot, or people say a lot, oh, you're a sprint car fan. And I go, yeah, I am. And they go, you're a sprint car guy. And I'm like, well, no, because one of my very favorite events on the planet is an event called the IMCA Super Nationals, fueled by Casey's and Speedway Motors in Boone, Iowa. And it's the Super Nationals where they have 1,000 race cars race in a week. They start on Saturday and they go through the following Saturday.
Like
modifieds and stock cars and, hobby stocks and econos and mod lights and late models. And it is one of the most amazing events you'll ever go to in your life. So I don't care, Code, as long as it's in a circle and it's got
I get you. Like, if someone said, oh, here's a trip to go to Chilliwack, I'm like, I'm freaking going. You know what I mean? Or going to an event like you said, I'm sure, I'm in. Like, I'm a fan and I get to have a beer and just watch things go in circle wide open. I'm all for it. So let's go Iowa. That's it, Fleming. Iowa. So moving into something like, let's just go back to the basics. I like something that we just broke the ice already, but something that people don't know about you. People know you commentate Speedway and even drag cars, motorsport. Mm-hmm. First one is simple. What got you into motorsport? You can go back to your 5-year-old, 6-year-old, anywhere with your dad, your grandparent. Where you went, this is my addiction and I'm going to go for it?
So my papa was born in Kadina in South Australia, but him and my nana moved to Western Australia and started a farm in Carnamah in the wheat fields of Western Australia, and tiny little place in the wheat fields. And my papa would drive to Claremont Speedway, I think it was 191 mile each way, and he would get off the tractor on Friday, drive down to Perth, watch the Speedway, drive straight back and get back on the tractor. And so he was the one that sort of started the addiction. And then my dad obviously would start going with him. And it wasn't until I was about 3 that I was allowed to start going with
Of
Dad.
course, yeah. Mm.
So, and I have memories really, really early of just, the smell. And Claremont had this amazing sort of these party lights that hung all the way around the venue, and huge big gum trees in Fowl House Corner, and the big Swan Lager bar can, and beautiful old grandstand. And so it immediately just spoke to me in a way that, even as a little kid, and my nana would say to me that I'd say to her, there's going to be a crash in this one, Nana, or I would tell her who was going to win this race. And I just seemed to have I don't know, not a sixth sense, wasn't anything like that. I just had
I get you, like
feeling for it. So when I was 6, my dad was in the Air Force, and we got posted to Point Cook or Laverton in Victoria.
Yep.
So suddenly I couldn't go to the Speedway anymore at Claremont. So my nana would fill out the Claremont Speedway program. She'd fill out all the results and she would mail them to me. And so we spent 2 years in Victoria, and then we got posted to Malaysia.
oh,
So we lived there for 2 years, and my nana would still keep filling out the programs, and I would literally just read every word. Every word. So every photo caption, every lineup, every result, I just sucked it in. And so after 2 years there, so 79 to 81, we got posted back to Adelaide finally, and Dad was stationed at Edinburgh, and Dad and Mum bought this little place in Lindock in the Barossa Valley in South Australia, and we started to go to Speedway Park, which is what Speedway City became.
Yes.
And so we were just fans. And the cool part was in Lindock, which is a tiny little town, there was a speed car driver called Rex Hodson, who's a bit of a local, SA hero in the day. So we started going to Speedway Park, and with my then best friend, who's still my best mate, sort of 40 odd years later, we'd go to Speedway Park quite a bit. So finally, after 5 years of living in Perth, and Nana's still sending me all the Claremont Speedway programs, Dad got posted back to Perth. And so I'm like, oh, yes, like finally, I'm 15 years old. I've been 9 years away. I can finally go back to Claremont Speedway with Popper. And it was 3 weeks before the start of the season, and we were living on the RAF base in Bullsbrook, and my sister and I were sharing a room, and Mum and Dad had their room, and the phone rang really late at night. In the day,
which is not good when the phone rang that late. It's not good. Yeah, 100%.
And that was well before. Yeah, that was dial-a phone.
Yeah,
stuff.
Exactly. Yeah,
LB phone. And I just remember sitting up in bed and saying to Lisa, Popper's dead. And she looked at me like, what are you on about? And I heard my dad on the phone saying, it's all right, Mum, I'll be there as soon as I can. It was my nana ringing saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dad raced to Karrinyup where they lived, and unfortunately Popper passed away from hypertension before Dad got there.
Yeah.
And I wrote a letter to the Claremont Speedway program editor and just said, hi, my name's Wade Aunger. I'm a 15-year-old resident of Bullsbrook. My Popper used to drive 191 miles each way, and he went to the Speedway. This would have been his 35th year going. I'm just wondering if you could maybe put a little line in the program that just said, Vale George Aunger or something like that. And anyway, we drove in the gate first night, and they had printed the whole letter. So the whole letter was in the program.
Oh, that is awesome.
So my dad was pretty blown away because he wasn't expecting that. And my nana, just...
Oh, it would have been, yeah.
Yeah. So till the day that Nana passed away, and she lived into her 90s, in the old people's home, on top of her TV was a picture of my Popper, and inside the framed picture, was the letter to Claremont. But I went to the office that night to say thank you to Brad Thompson, who was the editor of the program. And a lady was at the door. Then I said, oh, can I see Brad Thompson? And she's like, he's not yet. Yeah. Why do you want to see him? And I said, oh, I sent a letter in and he put it in the program. And she said, oh, no, that was Con Migro. Con put that in. He thought it was a beautiful letter. And I didn't realize at the time I was talking to Linda Migro, who was Con's wife.
Mm.
So I kind of got to know Con as this, I was just this year 10 student who was desperate to, be at the Speedway every time I could. And he would wave to me on the tractor, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's Con Migro. I was so starstruck.
Yeah.
And so I was in year 10 going to high school, and I just approached, I think, the Speedcar club. And now originally around that time, I was sending letters back to my friend in South Australia, and they're all like, Heat 4, Bert Vosberg, and came off the back.
Yeah.
My mate Dix is like, mate, what are you sending them to me for? You should be sending this to a magazine. I'm like, Jace, I'm 15 years old.
Yeah, they're going to take me on serious. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who's going to want an article from a 15-year-old? And because a guy called Ken Brown had everybody stitched up. And anyway, Speedway Star, a guy called Bill Meyer, who's Wayne Meyer's dad, he said, I'll run your stuff. No worries.
Yeah, awesome.
So I was handwriting letters and mailing them to Wayne Meyer, and he called my column Western Ways with Wade Aunger, and he would use the photos that the photographers sent in, and I had a monthly column, and I just thought, It doesn't get any better than this. Like, how good is
Well,
this?
that would have set like just a straight drive. Like, oh, this ain't stopping. I love this, and it ain't stopping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gave me a reason to be allowed to go in the pits.
Yeah, beautiful. As a young
Right.
bloke, you're like, I'm in the pits. This is awesome around the drivers. And,
I would sit in Shootout corner in turn 2, and after each group of racing, I'd run down to the pits, and the drivers started to get to know me because I'd be asking questions. And so the Speedcar Association WASDA approached me to write Wild and Wingless, the Speedcar column, and then Super Sedans asked me would I like to write their column. So suddenly I'm in year 10 and I'm writing for a national magazine, plus I'm doing the Speedcar column and the Super Sedan column. And then the following year, Brad Thompson retired from being the editor of the program and announcing. And Con Migro said to me, would you like to be the editor of the program? And
Mate, you're taking all my questions away. I was just about to lead into that. You're like, come on then. How did you... So this is how you got into commentary. Yeah, no, good. Go. I love it.
It kind of just worked as it was a really just a natural process. And I'm like, wow, like at the time I was 16, I think I was on my L's, and I was like, I said, well, I definitely want to commentate, even though I'd never thought about that. It wasn't like I grew up wanting to commentate. But if you asked my mum and dad at the time, they said that I used to commentate my Matchbox cars.
Of course, yeah.
So I don't think any of that's changed.
Yeah.
So that was an opportunity. And Con said, well, if you're going to commentate at Claremont, you're going to have to go to Ellenbrook, which is the winter track, and just learn.
Yep.
So I went to Ellenbrook. They ran every second Sunday, and there's an old bloke named Eric Dyson, was an old sidecar legend, and he would just chain smoke in that commentary box. I mean, like
as they did back then, there was no like it was like hanging out in the mouth 24/7 or lighting another one, and it was a hot box in there. Yeah.
But it was cool because you got to see a lot of the guys just sort of testing for the new season. But I also saw a lot of kids that were. All the old field kids were running like junior sedans and things like that, with stack and minis, and a lot of the guys, you'd see a lot of the A-grade super sedan guys come out and run on the weekends. And Jeff Kendrick would bring his team out a lot with the sprint cars, and that's where I met Jeff Leask. He was making his debut in sprint cars, so I kind of learned, just by chance and listening to Con and Chuck Redmond. And I can't listen to my first couple of years code.
Well, hey, I'm like that. I can't even rewatch some of my streams, and probably I'll watch a bit of this to hear how you reacted, how I sounded. But like, oh, sorry, it's a bit blurry, but it's just, I'm like that. But people have said to me, I've done like for fan races on here, Code, like this is like you're really good at commentating as well. Like you should do it. I'm like, oh, no, I don't know about that. But like you said, you couldn't even listen back to yourself. Like,
no, and I still wouldn't. If you came to me now, Code, and said, hey, I've got that first race you called in 1989.
Cringe.
I'd be like, let's just not do that. Let's watch the race, but let's turn the commentary down. So, yeah, not something I'm overly. I'm thrilled to have done it. It was an incredible experience, and I had some of the most profound experiences of my life working at that my Pleasure Dome, my Nirvana.
Yeah. So, were we talking about like? Was that you said 16? So, what year was that?
So when I basically started announcing, I was 17. So Des Ferris from Bunbury Speedway would get me to do the burnouts and stuff at halftime down there, and just do infield role. And so by the time I got to Claremont, I think my first season was like 88, 89, 89, 90.
Yeah, I read something. I didn't want to like fact check it wrong, but it said 89, and that sounded about right.
Yeah.
So from Claremont doing that, where was the first away from Claremont? Like, hey, Wade, we'd like you to come here and commentate this.
Yeah, that actually happened. And I was only thinking about it the other day, Code. It's interesting that you asked that question because I think I was getting on a plane to go somewhere just recently for an event. Might have even been to go to Perth for Top Fuel or Nitro Funny Car or something. And I remember thinking I went to Carnarvon, I went to Derby, I went to Broome, I went to Meekatharra. Like I got flown a lot in Kalgoorlie, the very first ever event at the brand new Kalgoorlie Speedway. So I got to get on a plane and actually go somewhere as an announcer. And that was like, holy cow.
Superstar.
Absolutely.
I feel the same, man. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
It was really special. And I got to meet some really cool people. And the other thing was a lot of the superstars, like the Far Western in Shark Bay was another really super cool event. And so I got to meet a lot of my heroes in a more casual environment, like going to Mora and Albany and Esperance and Geraldton and places like that, because West Australia's got a lot of regional speedways.
Yeah.
So it was cool to be able to go away and everyone was a bit more relaxed than they were at Claremont, because Claremont was the big time.
It was like, what Motorplex is now, but in WA. True. It was like Claremont Speedway.
Yeah.
Like, I got some of the guys in my stream that are big Rushy fans. It's like, mate, I remember watching Rushy Claremont. It's Claremont, and now it's not even there, which is pretty sad. Like Parramatta to me, it was Parramatta, and it's not there. So,
yeah, it's interesting because back in around about that 94, 95 mark, I was at a country speed car series round at Albany, and I was standing there behind a little quarter midget, and it was black, and it had a yellow number 5 on it, and there was a brunette girl standing next to it with like painted on jeans and jet black long hair. And I was standing there with Scott Glazebrook, a friend of mine who was about to be a race car driver himself soon. His dad, Ronnie, used to race. And I said, wow, who's that? And he goes, that's Adam Bruno's girlfriend. Now, I had no idea who Adam Bruno was. I didn't even think anything more of it.
Yeah, of course.
And you sort of time travel forward to 1988, 89, 99. And I'm living in Sydney, working for David Lander at Parramatta.
You said 98 this was, 98?
Yeah, I'm going to say about 98. And I get a phone call through the office, and the girl at the front office says, there's a phone call for you on line 1. I pick up the phone, I go, this is Wade. And he goes, oh, Wade, you don't know me. My name's Adam Bruno. And I go,
that guy, no way. You would have the name and went, what? That guy's name?
Quarter midget, yellow number 5, awesome looking girlfriend. And he goes, that's me. And he goes, I'm moving to Perth, from Perth to Sydney. I'm giving up my career as a sign writer and stuff. I want to be a country music singer. I want to tell you about a song that I've written about Speedway, and I want to know whether you'd like to be part of it. I was like, cool to catch up with a West Aussie anyway, because I was on the other side.
Sure, yeah, of course.
So he showed up with a packet of Tim Tams, and we had Tim Tam bongs, like sucking the pretty hardcore. Yeah. We went up the back in my Falcon, and he put a cassette in.
Yeah, as you did.
This song is about sprint cars, and instead of a lead guitar solo, I want you to commentate in the song. And I was like, this is pretty out there. So anyway, Adam Bruno, of course, changed his name to Adam Brand.
Adam Brand, yes.
And from that chance, well, I didn't even meet him that day in 94, but then you go on almost 5-6 years later, and he's pitching the idea for a song called Dirt Track Cowboys to me, and we'd never met, but we just got on like that.
House on fire. It was just, just chemistry there, 100%.
Got it. And
that song today is still like, I asked, like if when I wasn't on YouTube, I was on other platforms, I used to play any song I could. Mate, I get 5 times a day. Yeah, put on Dirt Track Cowboy. It's just awesome for the Speedway community. It's something like, if you're a Speedway person, you play it, everyone knows it. So you don't have to say a word. You just look at him.
About 25 years now, I think, since that came out. And it's funny because Adam's manager, Graham, he never liked the idea.
Of a commentator in a song or something? Yeah, but he didn't know where it was coming from, where Adam, like, is Speedway through and through, so he's like, it's going to work.
He knew what he was thinking. Graham wasn't a Speedway fan at all, never even been to it. He was like a North Sydney businessman.
Yeah.
And so when Adam was pitching this idea, Graham already had the guitar solo ready to replace me because it wasn't going to work. And Adam's like, mate, you need to listen to this because just wait and see. And we went into the studio in, I think it was like Waterloo in Sydney. And I remember Adam through the window with the engineer, the mixing desk, and Graham sort of standing there with his arms folded.
Like ready to not let it work.
Hurry up. Let's just get this out of the way so I can put the guitar solo in. And it's funny because Con Migro would always say, Friday night is Speedway night at the national capital of speed. Like that was his thing.
Yeah, and you
David Lander,
you took that. Yeah, that's
my other boss in Sydney, he'd go, if this doesn't turn you on, you haven't got a switch.
Yeah, he used to, I remember my dad showed me all the old videos of that. Yeah, for sure.
So I just was messing around. They said, do a level check. And I'm like, basically you just get behind the mic and you just rip
Say something. Yeah, bang. Yeah.
So I just messed around. I'm like, if this doesn't turn you on, folks, you haven't got a switch. Friday night is Speedway night, the national capital of speed. So I was just messing around.
Of course, yeah.
So anyway, the bit that we wanted, Adam wanted a couple of people mentioned. He wanted Adrian Marr because Adrian was in our indoor cricket team that we were now playing in, based in Sydney, right? That's how Murray got it.
Yeah, because you know what? I was talking to Jordan the other day because my brother always chucks it on as like, dirt track, there we are. And I was in the car with him and I said, oh, mate, you big Adrian Marr.
Yeah.
Like, and there you go. I know that he played like, because we know, like, Parramatta guy watching Parramatta. I knew Adrian Marr, Beverlite class. It was him and Ian Loud, and that was it, Yeah. But then Adrian Marr was in the song, like, where did he pull that one from? But okay, that makes sense now.
Well, in our indoor cricket team was Troy and Darren Jenkins.
Yep, Jenkins boys.
So it was a real Craig Brady. It was it was a real Speedway team. So, and Adam had another song called "I Did What" that he released, and he said, "I called Troy Jenkins to see if he survived." Right, so he used Troy Jenkins's name in the song as well. So all Adam wanted for me was he wanted me to mention a couple people. He wanted Kelly Linigan in there because he become quite good friends with Kelly and Brian and Gail. And of course, the year before, Daryl and Jason Cricky had been killed in a road accident. So I really wanted to tribute in some way their passing for Ron and John Cricky. You know, I really wanted to somehow reference the boys. So I had a rough idea in my mind what I was going to say, but it wasn't written down. So we did it in one take. Basically, they went, all right, and they played 5 seconds leading up to it. And I just remember going, Gary Rush, the living legend of sprint car racing, fires. So I mentioned Skip and Adrian and Kelly and oh, yeah, here come the things with the ring. And it was last lap, the boss of the sprint car bull ring, Ron Cricky, banking a check on the final. Oh, yeah, Cricky smokes him. That one's for the boys. So that means that was for Daryl and Jason.
Yes.
And it fitted in that. We didn't even do it twice.
Got it.
Bang, it was in there. And I remember Adam, I can't hear him, but I can see him. And Adam is in there, and he's like,
you got it. It's
perfect. And Graham,
exactly. The
manager's just like, what just happened? And the engineer's going,
not bad.
So in messing around, they put the bit at the start. That was never supposed to be in the song. If this doesn't turn you on, folks, that was never supposed to be in the song. Adam just went, that's a really
cool. It fits perfect, though. Like, you listen to that. Like, you know what type of song you're getting ready for. As soon as you hear him say, strap yourself in, it's like, all right, here we go. It's Speedway song. So have you done anything else like that since?
No, not really. I mean, we released Dirt Racer, which I actually like more than Dirt Track Cowboys. Dirt Racer was another version. I remember saying to Graham, his manager, a couple of years later, hey, you want to do another Dirt Track Cowboys? He goes, hell yeah, I do.
Bloody hell,
It went to #1, and we did it on Hey Hey It's Saturday. There's actually, if you Google Hey Hey It's Saturday, Adam Brand, we did Hey Hey live on, and Drew Cruck was on lead guitar in that band as well, wearing that Reeves race suit top. And I did a lot of touring with Adam just at big events like Gympie and Tamworth. And
just doing the part, it's awesome.
But that was, that was pretty. That's all I ever really did was, the stuff with Adam, which was very left of field at the time. But, he's my soul brother. He's one of the most remarkable people I've ever known, and he's the godfather of my son Liam. So
so you just have that awesome connection. Moving away from obviously country music and speedway, which goes hand in hand. Let's talk about the opportunity you got in the States. Where did the Nationals gig come from? Was it someone in Australia from the Outlaws Down Under heard you reached out, or was it just, everyone hearing you? Because I got a lot of American people come in here. A lot, like we got Jordan, we got Brian, and Jay, whatever, from, was it? Where is he? Oh, yeah, and they're from Iowa, and they know you from the Nationals, Give me a boom shakalaka, they're right, and all that type of stuff,
That's Super Nationals. That's
okay, there you go. So, and me, when I watch the, Nationals now, it's like, oh, I'm just watching an Australian race meeting, with those guys. I mean, you're through the roof. I mean, I probably would be, my energy would be off. They go, what is this Aussie on? What is he on? Because that's how we are if you're a Speedway fan and you're the right person. So, just where did that first come from? Like, hey, Wade, we want you to be, not at the Nationals, but a part of the whole team.
So in 92 was my first trip to the States. I went with my mate, Tom Watson Jr., who raced speed cars in WA, and my mate and also my second cousin, Neville Rowe. We went for 8 weeks, and we did a lot of racing, and I announced a heat race at Knoxville for the Outlaws, actually. And then in 94, 95, I took a tour of race fans over there. In 96, I spent some time in Ohio at a racetrack over there. And then 98 and 99, I did a tour, and Adam Brand came with us for that. And then 2000 and then 2007. So over that period of time, I would get behind the mic whenever I could.
People obviously know you're Australian commentator, so it's like chucking me in for a bit.
In 2015, and I didn't even know who they were or that they were even there. I was working at Parramatta, and I was doing the Classic. And the general manager of Knoxville Raceway, Brian Stickle, who's no longer there, owns the Atlantic Pacific pub now, and I stay with him and his wife, Candy, every year. Candy and Brian were there, and also a guy called Brandon Bingham. And Brandon was like a marketing agency guy from Des Moines who had a phenomenally really cool passion and ability to edit cool stuff together for sprint cars.
Now,
they were there just on a holiday. They were at Parramatta, and they were at the Classic. And I didn't even know who they were. And a guy called Mike Long, who was EMI, like Eagle Race Products.
I know that.
He wrote me this really fantastic email when he got back, because he was at the Classic as well. And he's like, Wade, I really enjoy what you did at the Classic. I like the fan engagement thing you do. We don't even do that in the States. And, you know, I'm going to recommend to the Knoxville Raceway that they look at bringing you to the Nationals. I'm like, oh, Mike, thanks for that. That's
of
really
course.
nice.
Thanks, mate.
Like, that'll get into that.
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to me, Brian and Brandon were already talking about it.
Yeah.
So that they came to me and said, hey, would you come across the Nationals and do exactly what you do in Australia? Don't change any of what you do.
Don't not be you. Exactly. Because you can fall into that trap, especially being in the States. They are very straightforward people. And commentating is sometimes robotic, you know, where you yourself is very energetic Australian, just, hey, guys, who's going for this guy? You know, they don't really do that over there, so...
Well, Americans are tremendous race fans.
Yeah,
they're so enthusiastic. Yeah. It's like, hey, everyone stand on one leg, jump around in the corner and stand on your head. Okay. Like, they just got so much passion and they're so genuine. And Aussies, don't get me wrong, Aussies are no less genuine or no less passionate. It's just we're a bit more reserved. Aussies are a bit more like, come on, mate, sit down. Whereas
I agree, and opinionated. Aussie fans are like, I know, mate, come on. Yeah, sit down, Wade, turn it up, mate. Just get off it. Because you're Aussie too. And if an American was in your spot, they'd be like, turn it up, mate. Like,
I feel sorry for the Aussies that go to Knoxville because they go over there to escape me.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing that. So it was Brian Stickle and Brandon Bingham and also Mike Long from Eagle that sort of said, hey, you know, let's bring that model in for fan engagement. And so that's been every year since 2015, with the exception of 2021 with that Not the Nationals. When they didn't do that, or 2020 when the Nationals was called Not the Nationals, when there was no travel. So that's where that stemmed from at Knoxville.
Now I did see you went on a show where you were in America during massive lockdown here. Was that around the Nationals time when we were still in lockdown, and you got to do interviews with Jack Hewitt and you got to travel a bit more?
So that was just me. That wasn't.
That's what I mean. It was just you, but you decided to stay there because like, why come? I mean, got to see your family maybe, which where lockdown treated us so different. I mean, I had my first son in lockdown, so I got to stay at home and be at birth, not be at work. You know what I mean? So that was awesome for me, but. In your situation, it was like, well, I can come home and do nothing, or stay there and adventure and try and make like social media, I guess.
Well, there was two things that happened at that time code. The first thing was in 2020, in June, on June 8, my birthday, and my partner in the business, Steve Timmis, we started Methanol Moonshine. Nice. And so we had created this this moonshine brand with sprint cars inside the bottle, and we that was a lockdown concept. I never thought of even doing anything like that. But Steve was a gin distiller in Mildura, and he's like, hey, you know, promote my vodka and we can do some stuff. I'm like, vodka's not really
let's do something ourselves, like a new
Let's do something that's got motorsport theme, like, you know, with NASCAR. So anyway, we were doing a year of that in Australia, and Kendra Jacobs, who was the marketing manager of Knoxville Raceway, I've known for a long time, since her dad Kenny won the historical big one in 1995. She said to me, we have to have that at Nationals.
Of course, as a thing, like come to Nationals, see you with the commentator Wade and then Moonshine. Like, let's go.
Yeah, we got to have this. So, and I'm like, well, I can't just. They want to give 24 bottles away. They want to give the A main drivers a bottle each with their grid position, because we can do that.
Okay, of course you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was like, how do we do that? It's illegal to mail liquor to America. Yes. In Australia, we mail it everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Not supposed to do it overseas. And I was like, Kendra, I don't know if I can just put 24 bottles in the mail to you, but then what happens when people see it? They're going to go,
I want to buy that myself.
How do I get that? And then suddenly someone's going to go, well, I can do that. And they'll just take the idea.
Exactly.
So I thought about it. And of course, Australia was in lockdown. So at the same time, I thought, well, what about if I can try and find a distiller in America or something? And Jason DeWall, a guy that's his dad owns the sprint car team Brooke Tatnell drives for, the 16 car.
Yes. Yep.
He messaged me about something completely different, about doing a tribute car for Brooke with the Ray Scott colours. Mm-hmm. He said, hey, this moonshine thing that you've been talking about, you know, what's the go with that? And I said, I'm trying really hard to get into America with it. But anyway, Jason lives in a place called Sioux City in Iowa, which is just south of South Dakota. Mm-hmm. And he's like, let me do some research on that, because I'm in the liquor industry.
Like can I make it for you or something like that?
Well, what we... Really, how could we possibly distribute it? Like, if we're going to do this, how would we legally do it?
Because the word moonshine, Yeah.
Anything that's liquor. You can't go cross state lines with liquor.
It's crazy, eh? Their rules.
It's really old school. It's been a frustrating experience, but it's literally like the Prohibition days code. It's really
that's America. Everything is you cross a line, new rule. This is our town. This is our state. Abide by it or go back.
Well, it's state tax.
Like
a lot of it's state tax.
Yeah.
I mean, I often joke that if I'd gone into the assault rifle business, then we would be fine. But Jason found me this little husband and wife distillery in Spencer in Iowa where we could distill from there.
Yep.
So I contacted them immediately and I said, hey, I've got this idea. This is what we do in Australia. And the lady said, I'm going to tell you now, Wade, you're not going to get the name methanol moonshine registered. And I'm like, why is that? She goes, because if you Google methanol, it says, don't drink it, you'll kill you. Right? So she said, you're not going to get it. And I thought, anyway, she said, I'll do it.
But it's race cars. Like, we need methanol. That's the whole point. Yeah. Pushing it. Yeah.
So I asked her to apply for it. And at the same time, I had to apply for an exemption to travel out of Australia to be able to do it.
Yep.
Right? To be able to go over there.
Business work. Yep.
Yeah. And it was actually Sharon McHugh, Lockie McHugh's mum, who was doing something to get Lockie over there to race. And she said, Wade, you need to use the word export. To get to the Australian government, you go, hey, I've got this concept for exporting, because our plan is still to one day export from Australia.
And make money. So give the country money and like that.
So I applied for a business exemption, and at the same day, about 2 weeks later, my exemption came through to travel, and Amanda messaged me and she said, you're not going to believe this, but
You've got it.
It's a nationally approved name. And I was like, let's do this.
It's happening. Yeah. That's
so awesome. I was there within 2 weeks setting it all up, and we made a bottle for the fans to buy at the Hy-Vee liquor store across the road from Knoxville, and we presented the drivers their A-main bottles. Now, when it came to the internationals, it's normally time for me to go home. Mm-hmm. But then I rang Steve in Mildura and he said, mate, don't come home if you don't have to.
That's September. That was bad. Really bad. Yeah.
It was. Mm-hmm. Mildura was a complete stay off the streets bullshit deal.
Yeah, like dead zombie land. Yep.
Yeah. So he said, don't come home unless you absolutely have to. And I'm like, Anyway, Chris Krug had said to me for ages, you need to come to Boone. You need to come to Boone. And I was like, what's Boone? I'd heard about it, but I had no idea what it was. He said, Super Nationals, man. It's just incredible. And I'm like, maybe this is the time to, check this thing out. And I had a gut check moment with Tony Bockhoven on the Sunday. I was supposed to, after Nationals, the morning after, I was supposed to fly home to LA and then fly home. And the ticket prices and the flight availability was insane.
Through the roof, I bet.
Right?
Yeah.
So they were only doing 10 flights a week or something into Australia. Like, it was insane. And we worked out the only way I could get home is if I flew one-way business class on Singapore Airlines, and it was $15,000.
No, not happening.
Right? Yeah. So I went to Tony and said, what do you think? What am I going to do? If I go home, I'll never know. And Tony goes, don't think about what $15,000 means now. Think about what $15,000 will mean in 10 years' time, and you look back and go, I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. And it was a guy named Jamie Hall from Syndicate Racing in Sydney said, I'll help you make this happen. Tony said, stay, like, just do it. Don't wonder later on.
100%. I mean, and that just shows you got to pat yourself on the back for that, the type of bloke you are, because you can't just have people reaching out and giving you support and going, wait, mate, we're all here for you. We'll make it happen. So that's why even me, myself today, I'm only just started my journey, but for me to reach out and go, wait, I think you deserve time on that side, because you do, mate. You've been so incredibly legendary, calling every major event across double countries. To me, your Speedway, you were World Series when I was a kid. You were the first person ever for me to get Brazier called Brazier. And to me, I thought my dad was, who the hell is that bloke calling my mate's name that, and it stuck. We call them G-Braz and J-Braz now. That is it. Yeah. That's their name for us. Yeah. So, but the excitement you bring, and it just shows Americans love you too. So it's from both sides of the world that you've created something for yourself, and the absolute support you get, mate. You deserve everything you get, because you've gave back and you get back too.
Thanks. I'm very, very, very lucky that people have been so incredibly good to me. I mean, I think hopefully what you hope is if you do things with passion, you do it for the right reasons, and then hopefully that's, it gets reciprocated. People talk a lot about karma like it's a bad thing, but
no way.
I think if you put things out into the universe and you genuinely want good things for the industry, which is all I've ever wanted for this sport, is for it to be better. It's just I'm very fortunate to call a lot of my heroes my friends, which is not something you can do in many other forms of sport.
What other sport can do that? If you watch NRL, you love Andrew Johns, he ain't your mate. You know,
No.
like where I can say, like me, I'm
Yep.
lucky to not even call him a friend. I call him my son's Poppy
Yeah.
because my dad's passed now. But I've seen Gary Bradshaw do some ridiculous things in a race car, and he's my best mate in the world still as well.
Yep.
Like so,
Mate.
so another thing where it says hero, and
Yeah.
even my mate Jordan. Yes, he's had his sprint car stuff, but when I see him on the track, he's like my idol out there. Like, go, mate. Like, rip into it. Like, that's incredible what you do. So,
Brazers are an incredible family, mate. Like Braz, what you've always got with Braz is what you see, and he's never, ever, ever minced away from a confrontation.
I can put my hand on the heart. I've seen a lot of things other people will never see, and it's 125,000% true.
Yeah, it was really nice seeing Steamer and Kay a couple of weekends ago down at Warrnambool. It was really nice to see them.
Oh, they love this time of year, don't you get about
Yeah,
them?
they do. It was really good to see them. I haven't seen him for a little while. And Steamer looks pretty good. I said, "You're looking pretty good, Steamer." And he said, "I'm feeling pretty good." He had that beautiful smile he's got.
He's only got one. He's only got one, but when it happens, you know he's in a good mood.
Yeah.
So. Well, that's like a thing with I know perfect example, Steamer. He's not really hands on anymore. He isn't. Because I think it's him. But he still fiddles and works his ass off when he can. And then so there was something about maybe a certain car coming down to the Classic. And something was happening, and all of a sudden there was a front end in an old school race car, and Steamer had done it all on his own. And what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was crew chief on that car when it won. You know what I mean? And so it's still there for him. Like even today, so I started my own brand here. I call it Code World Order. Like I'm a big wrestling fan, CWO, and I actually had my first shirt bared at Speedway today in Avalon. It was on camera.
Nice.
And Jordan rang me. He goes, "Were you watching that pre-show?" I said, "No, mate. I was getting ready for my interview." He goes, "Some bloke had your shirt on and he was in the camera." And I was like, "Are you serious?" I went back and watched it, and I think it's one of the best things I've ever had. And I got a kick too. So, and like you said before, where it's like, you're lucky and karma, but it's not. It's just my dad used to say, you're just being real, and you can't fake that.
Yeah.
And you're real as it comes, and you can tell when I'm talking to you now. You're just sitting on the lounge having a chat, and the passion's coming through because you can't. We can't stop talking because you're just so passionate about it.
I'm no different to you or anybody.
Exactly.
I'm very lucky to do a job that I get to do. That's I still pinch myself. I commentated last night with Lee Adams and my son Liam. I still literally am pinching myself that tomorrow I call Nitro Funny Car and Top Door Slammer and Top Fuel Bike, and then next week's the King's Challenge, and the week after the Classic, and then Top Fuel up in Sydney. Mm-hmm. So I'm still the luckiest man in the world to be doing something that I love. And people, don't get me wrong, I don't walk the middle line. So the stuff you said about jumping around and being enthusiastic and getting the crowd going, it's not for everybody. And I know I wear people out. So, I as I get older, I'm understanding that, hey, I have to keep reinventing myself a little bit here. There's a lot of really good young announcers now, and I need to make sure that I can still stay relevant and still be something that brings something to the coverage, because it's easy to think, oh, I've been doing it for 35 years. Well, that doesn't mean anything anymore. Like you really have to. The commentary has changed a lot, Cody. In the 35 years I've been doing it, it's a very different style now to what it used to be. So,
well, you got to think there's a style that I feel like let's just say one of the greatest all time, Johnny Gibson. Right, he is very knows every stat, knows every sponsor, professional. Up off the edge of your seat, and when something's happening, you start leaning forward because Johnny, you can hear Johnny's off his seat. And, and he knows what's happening, knows every bit of the race car, And then you got some guys, which recently I've been watching, and they don't even know what's happening, but they're enthusiastic, and you're like, okay, mate.
There's a balance.
Yeah, there's a balance. I get it. But you said yourself, and there's new drivers coming through, so you have a lot of older stories with other drivers that you've watched for 20 years, where these new guys, you're trying to reinvent yourself, Tate Frost, well, what's he about? I have no idea.
I'm not I'm not a mechanical guy, so I don't. You'll never hear me talk about shock technology.
No, but it's how you do it. You pass it on or ask the right question to the right person, and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I like people. So Tate Frost is a better story than his race car.
I agree with that.
Because sprint car fans will never understand what it's like to run a sprint car or pull a wing back, do those sort of things. But Jock Goodyer is a great story as a person before he's a great story as a driver. So that's still me. I like telling stories. I like telling the story of people that Like Luke Dillon, his dad Gary was like a badass speed car driver back
Yeah.
in the day, who also rolled solos at Rolly Park and scrambles before that. And
Mm.
Luke's brother Lee is really handy on the spanners, and his wife Candice used to race as well, and now he's got two girls. And so to me, that's more interesting and more relatable than the fact that he's driving a Triple X 81 car and this is what he's running on the right
I
rear.
agree with that. That's what I said, like with you, like Johnny is the statual guy.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
like, and through and through, bang, and then he asks a straight question, thank you, gone. And that's Johnny Gibson, where like yourself, and I'm like that, I think I'm a little bit of both, but I would be like you people because I go to watch like, oh, Jamie Ville can run the top. Not Jamie Ville's car can run the top. Do you know what I mean? It's Gary Brazier, if the top is on, look out. But if the top's not there, oh, he might struggle tonight. You know that. Not his car, it's just mentally him, you know. So I agree with that. And it takes a person to win an event, not the race car. Yes, like now we are getting away in, I believe, in Speedway, and I talked to Jordan about this. The cars are getting unlimited, but then also becoming the same race car. They're that good. Do you know what I mean? And it's becoming down to the crew person and everything that drives.
Oh, absolutely.
That, you know, so, but the people, and that's why I said the fans drive this sport, and the drivers need to realise this. And like, I like what they're doing at Avalon tonight. They're finally like, I don't know if they're making the drivers, but they should. The drivers should be out there selling their shirts and saying hello. Because they go to watch you. They don't go like, yes, I go to watch sprint cars, but like Jock Goodye's having a ridiculous year. Right, like I don't remember last time a guy's been winning like this. Besides maybe Veely when he was at Parramatta all those years ago when he really took off. Like he won everything, and he won the classic that year as well. But like if you got to go to the racetrack after the event and you got a 5-year-old who's already asleep, he's not going to go to there. Like he's already asleep. And like I felt like this with I recently went to the Monster Jam, big Monster Jam. My son, he's 2. Monster Jam. Now, this might lead into another question I really want to know your thoughts on, but the same thing with Monster Jam was the cars were there behind a gate. You had to pay a fee to get in there. I was like, I'm not paying a fee when the cars are right there. And then to buy merch, it wasn't off the car. It was from a little fan stand. Like go and do a Justin Bieber concert or something. And the line was ridiculously long and overpriced. Again, you're not getting that interaction with a driver, where in that sport, that you only sport the car. Doesn't matter who's in it. I go for Meg. I go for Gravedigger. Now, but kids and families were leaving before the event was over. That's how long and slow that racing is. I even went, wow, this is ridiculous. Like people complain about Speedway. No, like wait till my headphones come in. Now with the success of the Chili Bowl in America, Gateway Nationals, is there any way in Australia we could get a dome or stadium event like that going somehow?
I don't think so.
Is it because of safety regulations or just no one wants to fund it? Not at all. Doesn't want to give bar.
Population. There's population. To start with, there's 300 million people in America.
I get that, yes.
But it is under 30 here. We don't have a Chili Bowl style facility to take something to anyway. We had the Speedway Grand Prix down at Etihad Stadium, which was the most elite stadium that any Speedway event's been held at, and we couldn't afford it. The overheads of doing something like that are just far too expensive. And to be honest with you, American fans will watch anything. They will go to events that race on concrete in a dome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they will literally race anything, and fans just cannot get enough. Aussies, I think, are a little bit more selective with what they do. The Chili Bowl's built up a phenomenal following, but you've got to remember, it's been going for decades.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. But it had to start somewhere. I get that. And now it's grown to this ridiculous 6-day event with, like you said, 1,000 cars, and like it's awesome to watch. I love it. Like sometimes I even turn it on and I'm like, I'm a bit lost. What are they even doing right now? What heat are they up to? What day are they up to?
A different culture. America has a different culture to Australia when it comes to racing. They literally just crave racing. And I'll be honest with you, Code, I don't watch streaming. I don't watch live streaming of Speedway. I don't. It's so much of my life that the last thing I want to do
it's work, mate, for you. I get that. It's like you're at work again or something.
Well, I just need a balance. I need to have some part of my life that isn't Speedway. So to be honest, I think I'm better off spending time on the moonshine business than I am, watching a live streaming event or something like that, even while I'm at work. So, look, I take your point. It'd be cool. I mean, years ago at Claremont at the Burswood Dome, Con Migro and Des Ferris ran an amazing indoor speed car event.
Mhm.
and lost a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't like, so the concept, like, the concept's there, but like, I'm saying, could it? And I don't think it could, but I was just asking you, like, you know a lot more people in there
I
around
don't think we don't have the economy to supput it.
Okay, there you go.
And those kind of venues, they're just so expensive to lease,
Yeah.
to put the dirt down, all that sort of stuff. Whereas the Chili Bowl, nothing happens in that exhibition center except for during that period of time.
Yeah.
They run the micros and then they run the Chili Bowl, and that's been built up over so many years. But I'll probably never get to that event because we're always racing in that period.
I know,
of time.
it's always like right now, peak classic time. You've literally got to leave just after Christmas, go, fly back for classic. Like, and that's why, like, even a guy like Rico coming out, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it.
And to be honest with you, Code, I don't know that I would go.
Why not?
I don't know. I just I love racing in any form on dirt. The Chili Bowl for me, everybody loves it, and the racing's phenomenal, and the flip count's incredible, and all that sort of stuff. But I'd honestly prefer to do what I've just done now, which is solo, speed cars, sprint cars.
Yeah.
In Australian summer, be around my
Aussie. It is hard. Like, for me, like, I get that. So, like, when you go to Nationals, nothing happening here. Why not go and watch the best sprint cars in the world at the biggest sprint car event, whatever you know what I mean? And also Eldora, they call it Month for Money. It's like our Month for Money is technically now too, if you talk about that. So, Declan, I'll get to the questions of the stream. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. So I appreciate that. We'll get to the questions at the end, brother. I will get to your Adam King question. Let's move on to the moonshine type of thing. So, when you call it moonshine, explain it. Like, what type of alcohol is it? I love the name. The name is, like, awesome. Like, I'm a race fan. I'm like, yeah, I want to try that. No, not dirt. Like, methanol moonshine. I've got it plain under here as little moonshine. So I'm sure people at home, like, where can you get it in Australia, for starters? Like, you can obviously go www.methanolmoonshine.com.au or just .com.
Yes, .com.au.
Okay, we've got the socials under here, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They're flying under the screen, guys. Now, you said you're not a gin drinker like your partner was, or was it vodka? He said he wasn't a vodka.
Yeah. Well, my mate Steve has, he has a gin distillery.
Okay, right? There you go. So gin distillery, go.
So he manufactures vodka. They do their own whiskey there as well. They do a rum as well. They do a range of products. And I drink vodka too, but when he asked me to promote it as a Speedway drink, I was like,
it's not really like a vodka. If you're at Speedway, you're drinking a beer.
So it was the moonshine thing was like the NASCAR connection, and when you say the word moonshine, people go, "Ooh, moonshine!" Like
baby, yeah, you do.
So and the methanol moonshine was just a name that came to me when I thought I like alliteration. So I like Cody creams them in Kokomo, Wade wows them in Warrnambool. I like things that have alliteration in it.
Right. Well, my family is, and we've gathered about anything with a double letter, just go for it. It rhymes and roll with it. Yeah.
So it's a grape and grain spirit. So it looks like a gin or a vodka. It's clear.
Yeah.
And we've been doing 80 proof, which is like 40% alcohol since we started in Australia. Mm-hmm. But in America now, we do 100 proof in a lot of our products over there, which is 50% alcohol. So it's kind of a bit more of a kick in the arse.
Oh, it's a methanol kick, all right. Yeah.
Well, it's the alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It really kicks it. Yeah.
People still ask us. They go, "Oh, you can't drink methanol." Like, dude, it's just a name. Like, honestly, it's not that people are drinking methanol. So we mail it to you in Australia. We literally, you drop us a line, we will post it to your door, and I can put up to 6 bottles in a box.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, mate.
But in America, it's very different. We can't do that.
So you haven't got it into bottle stores in Australia yet? No. You do?
No, we don't. We don't want to.
Okay, cool. All right, I like that because then you get it for like. Would you? I don't know if you're able to because obviously I know Australia has rules. Are you able to do it like say at a fan appreciation day, have a stand there? Or no, you're not allowed to.
We already do that.
Okay, you do that. So you'll do that at the classic or something like that. Awesome.
Next Saturday morning we'll have our butterscotch, our peach, and our original bottles as well. There, we did that last year as well with our butterscotch. So we'll have the 3 down there. We can't do that in America anywhere. We can't just open up the back of the van like we can in Australia.
Wow.
America is very, very strict on that. It's got to go to the state out of the distillery, and then the supermarkets buy it from the state, and then the bars buy it from the supermarket. It's a 3-tier system, so everybody gets a piece of it. So we changed the name of it to Methanol Boonshine for the IMCA Super Nationals, where the Boon Shakalaka people are asking about.
Yeah, that's bad.
We changed our merch just for that event.
Well, it makes sense too. Like that's a great strategy. It makes sense to.
That is a phenomenal event, Code. That Super Nationals has been a game changer for me. It's rednecks with paychecks, and I say that with the absolute utmost respect. People are so genuine and so real and so friendly, like they are at Nationals, but it's a Sprint Car Nationals, but it's a different audience and a different event. Knoxville Nationals is like the Formula One. Super Nationals is like NASCAR. You know, it's that.
Well, to that audience too, because I know like a lot of
Yeah.
Americans, it's like here in Australia, like I would say the dominant form of dirt racing would be sprint car, speed car, then late model. Where America, it's nearly late model first and sprint car head to head, because like when I'm like doing my stuff, it's like, bro, come play late model. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not. And like they love NASCAR and late model because it's like NASCAR is so close to the late model on the dirt. So it's like we love that body to body racing. And
the World 100 has always been one of the biggest races in the world. Like they've had phenomenal car counts for late models in certain parts of America are way bigger than sprint cars.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's definitely the truth. Late models are huge in America for sure.
Quick one, Ollie, thanks for the 5 gifted YouTube memberships, you absolute legend. You've been going off this week. I've got 2 more questions for you, then we'll get into some of the fan guys ones. The Classic and the title. Now, they're our 2 biggest events of the year. We're trying to get big events, which I love. Like, we want to have, your Eldor roll into this, roll into that type of system.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense that way.
Yeah. Now, do you think, again, coming from my background, my family, it was all about number one, being number one. I'm chasing Gary Rush. That's all I heard as a kid. I'm going to beat him, blah, blah, blah. I told him when I was a kid, and my dad used to say, we used to throw rocks at him, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
Do you think now, and I don't know if it's just me, but even when I recently went to the Classic, is the Classic overshadowing the Australian title?
I don't think so. It's different. It's just like comparing...
It is different to what it was, though, eh?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
not in a bad way. I just feel like the level of like what you want to win more.
Oh, look, years ago, the Australian Sprint Car Championship. When you were at Claremont, the only chance you saw the Australian champion is if they came for 1 or 2 races for promoted events. So you never saw that big number 1 on the tail tank unless Claremont and Bunbury brought them over. It was Rush or Max or
a Cricky won it.
Yeah, that's right.
He had it, yeah.
So, but over the last, in the modern era of sprint car racing, and the reason why they never let Americans into the event was because they wanted the Australian fans to see the Australia one.
Yeah.
So, if an American won it, let's say Brad Sweet came to Australia and won the Australian Sprint Car Championship, he goes straight back to America.
It does. It sucks.
And we didn't get to see them. But the reality is, if James McFadden wins it,
he's gone too. He's gone too.
Yeah. So that whole model has changed. But if you look at the last couple of years, you had Marcus, you had Veely, now Jock. We are seeing those guys travel the entire country with that number. So those teams are so well resourced now that when you win that title, Andrew Shirley, to his credit, did the same thing when he won it.
Yeah.
So I used to be a huge believer that we shouldn't and we didn't need to allow Americans to race in the Aussie title.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now that things have changed so much that what if Sheldon came down and won the Australian title and went straight back home? I think that would kind of suck, but that we wouldn't see the Australian one until he came back to defend it. But things have changed. The Classic has a different feel and a vibe, and it's at the same venue every year, whereas the Aussie title's at a different venue every year. So I think they're still different enough that they carry equal weight.
Well, I feel like I'm absolutely excited for this period. It was the first time I actually went to the Classic was when it was last back-to-back Classic and title at Premiere.
Yeah.
And I feel like the town is absolutely buzzing for that 12 days. Like, it is awesome to be a part of. Where when I went to the Classic and then it finished, I was like, oh, no, it's finished. Damn it. And then everyone was like backing up and it was going type deal. But do you think, would an American even run the Australian one if they want it, though, when they come back?
Yeah. Oh, well, they're not allowed to currently.
No, if an Australian, if an American won it and then he come back from, say, he ran for Jack Lee the next year, would he put Australia one on his car or would Jack Lee go, put that on your car?
Oh, I think it's a personal choice. I'd be very surprised if the team didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
To run the number one, because that's the thing they're racing for. It pays $20,000 to win the Australian Sprint Car title.
Mm-hmm. It's the number one. It ain't the $20K. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the money, I don't think is the thing. It's the prestige and it's the honour roll and it's that right to carry the number. So that's why Braz always wanted more than 6.
Yeah.
That's why he wanted to get 11.
Yeah. Well, that's the same as you still see Kerry Madsen coming back run the Classic and he still run the Australian title. Because and even Brooke still trying to put his hand up to run the Australian title, So, and I think the heritage of the Australian one, seeing a guy like Gary Rush win it that many times, and then no one else has even come close. Maybe Gaz at 6. It's like, holy shit, that dude won it 10 times. And obviously, like you said, it wasn't at the same track. So he travelled at all different places.
Different time, though. Different era.
Of course it was a different time and era, but I'm still saying
it wasn't. I don't think it was as broadly competitive as it is now.
It's like Steve Kinser. No one's going to win 20 World of Outlaws titles.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. It's just no one's probably even going to beat Donny because Brad Sweet's already jumped ship anyway. So it's just what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
With the Brad Sweet stuff, do you think High Limit doing their own series is helping in the sport in America?
I don't know. I was talking to Kerry Madsen before I came back this year to Australia. He said he thinks that America is big enough for 2 series.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, Kerry's got a more valid opinion.
Well, he's been there for a very long time. So
absolutely. So I don't really have a grasp of what this does to the environment for American sprint car racing. It seems to have certainly made the Outlaws step up their game, you know, with how they promote and how they have offered some more money for the teams on the road. And I think a bit more transparency in their streaming numbers and things like that. So it's shaking up the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
The All-Stars, I think, was already...
It was already a series, but it just wasn't like promoted like High Limit is right now.
It really did. The numbers weren't as strong as they have been. And
yeah.
I think it's exciting. I'm that silver lining guy, to be honest, Coach. I'm always going to say to you, you know what, no matter what it is, we just got to all get in the boat and row together. So
100%.
I'm really hoping that it is incredibly successful because the sport could use
we want
great
it.
platforms.
Exactly, we want it. Oh, shit, I've done it again. Well, that's leading into that. Like, now we don't even have a series. We've got little series going on. You know, which... I used to love, you know, leading into the Australian title, and then someone win, and then they say I will waited to watch the next World Series meeting to see Brooke Taylor put the Australian one on his car. Did he change his paint scheme, you know, and he got to run World Series. Like, do you think we'll ever have a series in Australia again?
I don't know. You know, naturally I wanted that, you know, with World Series.
Of course, yeah.
Be nostalgic, but I think all the tracks have got their own
agendas.
Well, they've all filled those dates now. You know, the Red Hot Summer deal up in Toowoomba. Perth's got their series rocking. We've got Speed Week. Well,
even like now, if Sydney comes back into the fold, they're going to struggle. Those big dates, like you got to think PCR, like other places had Boxing Day and that, but it was like every American, every Aussie.
Yeah.
It was like a 70-car field at Parramatta from Boxing Day through to the 5th of January. Like that's where everyone was. And now those dates are gone. Eastern Creek are going to have to come up with these dates and the money, and it's just what it is. It's very hard.
Who knows where any of that is going?
Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It worries me. It really. Anyway.
Yeah, it's so hard. No, I get you. Like, because that's my track. I would have already been making video footage, vlogging, going there every week, supporting the sport, trying to grow it, and now it's like. It's right there, and it's.
I know.
So is there any possibilities these regional tracks? I know they're obviously funding involved, but could they get involved in linking up a series, or the tracks just can't handle sprint cars or have something?
I think everybody's going to do what they've been doing. I think Speed Week will go on like it does. Lismore will have that event when the guys come back down from Toowoomba. The international hopefully will be an annual event.
Yep.
The All-Star Challenge gets bigger and bigger. To be honest, I think all those spots are filled.
It's just too tight.
Honest, I just can't see that there's room anymore. And the logistics with diesel now, with the cost of racing and cost of transport.
The numbers just wouldn't be there to even like a team. You're going to have to fund a tow money and be like, they're like, that's not enough. Like for a series to make money, it'd be like the series just have to run on no money.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I would love to see World Series come back, but I'm not sure that there's room anymore.
But in our time frame, I agree with you on that. It's just like you said. Like now we're already talking about Avalon jumped on a date tonight. Perth's running a lot more. You know, and the guys are like there's some guys coming from Perth for the Classic, which was rare. You know, not a lot of them used to come anymore, but now the Australian titles here, they're like, why not? There's no other races in Perth, so that's awesome on that side of things. Big question from me and some of the boys. This actually question, we'll get into some of the guys' questions from the chat. Azza asked this one yesterday. If you had unlimited budget, here we go. Unlimited budget, Wade Aunger, and you got to build a speedway track, what type of track would it be and where would you put it? So any shape, you could build the biggest thing, smallest thing. You can even do your sidecar, whatever. What would you build?
I like Mount Gambier, to be honest. Maybe a slightly more banked Mount Gambier. I like it. It's compact and it's a bull ring and it's a gorgeous little venue and I don't think you need much bigger than Warrnambool or Mount Gambier myself. I like the bull ring. Like Murray Bridge is a great track as well for that. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the more compact, back it in kind of racetracks.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, just it's skill. A lot of skill. You don't need the 900 horsepower to win there. It's all about the driver in the seat. I would have loved to see anyone build a Parramatta with a wall.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, look, Parramatta didn't need a wall. Parramatta was cool without the wall.
I know, but like it would have been like that cush that build up to a wall. It would have been like a ridiculous thing to see. But I mean, people never all my memories of Speedway at Parramatta, that the track. Like, it was like, yeah, this is our track. We don't have a wall, bud.
Yeah.
And every other track did. And you used to
it was a super cool place.
And you used to see some drivers come there. And I swear when I was, like, when I started, J-Mac just got the A1 and all that, he was young.
Yep.
He struggled there for 5 years, I reckon. Like, I just remember, like, J-Mac, when I was a kid, J-Mac straight one, he's not even running top 10. Like, that's like, me, So I just felt like Parramatta was like and then you start to see Veely come there. Work the place out, dominate.
Oh, he was amazing.
You know what I mean? Like, he had that period when he was in there. I remember it clearly. He brought his car and it was black and fluoro yellow. And I didn't know much about it.
We got to do this real quick because I got a couple of mates out the front here.
Okay.
One of my buddies that calls sprint cars mud buggies.
Oh, get him out of here. What's he like? Drag car?
This is Nathan Prendergast, who's like mega drag race.
Yeah, drag car. Yeah, okay,
yeah. And the best sprint car video cameraman in the world, Richie Rowley. So come in, boys. So this is Nathan and this is Richie.
Hey lads, how are we?
Well, then the ones will come in. We're Nolte's. I got to show you all Nolte's collectibles.
Look at that. The shrine. Yeah, the shrine.
No, it is a shrine, mate. He's
got bloody oath.
Knuckles Land.
He's got every one of his lanyards that he's ever had in his life as well. Like,
he's even got room for more. Look at that. That's amazing. He's kept all those. That's awesome.
Oh, he loves it, mate. Look at it. And he's got his big wall of shame over here from all of his Mint nightclub stuff. And I hope he doesn't mind me showing everybody this, by the way. And this is his favourite up here. He's got a painting of Chad Nail on Dean Neal. Of course, Nolt's up there as well, and Benny Bish.
That's a ripper, like 2010 Bristol. That's awesome.
That's from Bristol. So that's a nice Christmas shirt you got on there, Richie, too. Sorry about that. I didn't realise the boys were outside.
That's
so
all
we're
right.
going for a production meeting at the Swanee a bit later on. So
that's all right.
So what was it? Yeah, Parramatta would have been super cool. That's what they were supposed to build at Eastern Creek. Like for like.
They've ripped us. We're ripped. We're ripped. Yeah. I'll tell you, you know what? I don't know. You don't. It's like you didn't obviously. Well, you weren't involved in Eastern Creek, but did you ever go?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you went, right? So they obviously. This is the one thing I knew it was going downhill, and this was not one of it. I went as a fan. Okay, brought my fiance, had a pram. Pushed the pram in. Sorry, you're not allowed to have a pram in here. And I said,
I know.
What the fuck are you talking about? And she got, and this guy's looking at me, scared because he's like, bro, I'm just told like you can't have a pram. Oh, by the way, you can't have a chair. I'm like, this is Speedway, bro. He's like, nah.
Next question code.
Nah. Anyway, but that's when I knew it was all downhill, and look where we're at now. What is your most memorable sprint car race you've ever called? Or it might not even be sprint car. What's the one race where you go, that is one of the best races I've ever seen, and I was lucky enough to call it?
It's a really strange comment to make because I'm a dirt guy, but it was a legend car race at Bathurst.
What?
Nathan will remember this for sure. It was like Neil Crompton, Paul Morris. It was an absolute carve up, and it was one of the greatest races of all time.
Legend car.
Wow. You remember it, Nathan, wouldn't you?
It was amazing.
So Nath used to produce, back in the day when we were like much younger, Nath used to produce Speed Week, AVE Speed Week. So
Speed Week, yep.
So we got to sort of get to know each other. And he's the reason why I call drag racing and every other.
Okay, sweet.
He kept going, you got to call something other than sprint cars. I'm like, I don't like anything but mud buggies.
But yeah, he's pretty good at it all, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the best, mate. He's the best.
Been doing it a long time. So
yeah, well, that was, I was there Speed Week 89 to 586. That's how many I did. And that was, I left in 2005.
Holy cow.
So that's come up to 20 years ago.
So some of the Ute race stuff was pretty cool too, Nath. Like that was, to be honest, the Ute stuff was such a circus.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a black track guy at all, but that stuff was, grab a beer out of Nolte's fridge. He's got plenty.
No, it's all good.
He's got plenty. He's got plenty. Don't worry about it, mate. Just even if it's his last one, just grab it. He'll get more.
I couldn't say, you know what, the best race ever called was the last one I called. You know what I mean? Like they're all
I get that.
And last night calling the solos with my son Liam and with Lee Adams is as good as it gets for me. So I've called some phenomenal drag racing stuff in the last year and a half. Some amazing circuit racing stuff, some amazing Hatter Desert Race stuff, some amazing stuff at Knoxville, some amazing stuff at the Super Nationals. All of it's great for me. I know it's a cop-out answer, but
I get you. But like you have done so many. I thought there would have been one where you went, "Oh my god, this happened."
Look, Marcus Gumsey winning the Australian Sprintcar title was really, really.
Oh, that special night, because like I've had a few nights at the dumps in his shed with those boys. They're animals, but I love they're good boys. But that night, watching it at home and just going, "Oh yeah, Veely's going to win" or something. Like I've seen it happen before, and then you just go, "Marcus is coming. Go, you good thing. Go, you good thing."
Caden Brown won the Australian Speedcar title.
Yeah, Caden, good. He's really good friend with the Camilleries. Like they're very close, so
totally
know a lot about him. This is Declan. Finally, get to your question, Declan. Asks Wade if he remembers the Tonka shoot with Adam King.
Oh wow, that was a while ago.
He's Adam King. I think they're family friends, Declan. But
yeah, for sure. Down in Portland, down in Warrnambool, actually.
What was that about? What do you mean Tonka? Like Tonka cars? Or
we had the Tonka. We had their pace truck, the F-150. Like that was always super cool. That was like
that was your pace car.
That was pace truck. Wow, Decky remembers a fair way back. That was a long time ago. early 2000s. We always had lots of fun on the road with photo shoots and things like that. And the pace truck was an amazing, vehicle to have as a display for any of that stuff. It was super cool. So it was a while ago, Deck. Wow.
Even though I just seen your face and you're like, Tonka truck, holy shit.
Yeah, Hot Wheels before that. So we had Hot Wheels and Tonka, yeah.
How does he go with a new series picking which races he go? Oh yeah, so we the boys are like, when do you get now? Is it more like, Wade, can you please come commentate for us, or are you still putting your hand up for things?
Oh no, I've still put my hand up for things. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. If it's something that I generally feel like I could make a difference with, I'm pretty lucky. My schedule was pretty this year in particular because with all the NDRC, the drag racing stuff has been a really big commitment. Nathan again was, really instrumental in getting me a goal with the National Drag Racing Championship with Top Fuel last couple of years. But then Pro Speedcar Week, working for my friends, like Lee Redmond and Travis Mills and Andy Pierce, those guys came to me and said, "Would you do Pro Speedcar Week?" And there's still events that I say, "Hey, can I be, can you consider me for that?" But there's annual gigs, the Classic and the King's Challenge and things like that. But yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to say, "Hey, do you mind if I come along and call races?" It's not like I'm just waiting for anyone to come to me.
Yeah, I get you.
A lot of commentary options now, so people have choices.
Well, there is a lot more. The live streaming is just added up through the roof. They need one. They need someone on the mic. So, Zach, you're from Mildura as well. Me being also from Mildura, what would you like to see from Timmins Speedway? The track is so good. New fence lights, place is ready to go.
There is.
So, what would you like to see more from the track?
I think next year they're going to maybe get a round of Pro Speedcar Week. Speedcars will be phenomenal around that place. I know that there's the wingless, new WOW wingless series is looking at maybe going there as well for next year. On the 24th of February, got 410 sprint cars going there.
That's awesome. That's really good. See, another track where we can put, even like you said, speed cars, but like sprint cars, like people go, "Oh, wow, okay, it's a track." You know what I mean?
It's modified sedan racing is phenomenal there. I'd like to see more late models if we could as well. They're doing a great job. The place is absolutely rocking. Plugger's got the surface fantastic. Catch fence is amazing. The lights are great. And the venue looks $1 million. They're really doing a great job. Mildura is very blessed.
Yeah. Like I said, Zach, again, he's my Mildura man. Ask him anything about Mildura.
Yeah.
This is from Tyrone Hutto. What does he think about the surface at Premier and how it developed during the Classic and Title? What do you think? How do you think it's going to go? Or you just don't know?
No, I don't. And I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't have that kind of knowledge. All I know is that track is trying its hardest.
Oh, I bet that, 100%.
There's a track team there that are working their asses off to get the best possible solution. The idea of pulling 4 meters out and pulling all the concrete up and stuff is a massive commitment from them to go, we have to do something. And they did. So you know what? No matter what happens, it'll be dramatic. There'll be controversy, there'll be drama, there'll be all those things, and there'll be an Australian champ that stands atop the field because they were the best to suit the conditions on the night. So whatever happens, it's going to be amazing. And good luck to the team. I think they'll do a great job at Warrnambool. They're working their asses off.
I just really like how through all the stuff, they've been getting so much slack. They've really come forward and really tried to show that they're doing everything, even with the interviews. Like a track. When was the last time you seen a track preparator on a live stream saying sorry guys, or like we're doing our best? Like he shouldn't even have to do that. I think.
No, they're doing a great job. They really are.
So, and like you said, everyone's got to drive the same track. That's all I've said. Everyone's got to drive the same track. Winner wins. Will he commentate? No, I don't think he'd want to commentate one of our lives, mate. There's too many yellow flags. Wow, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this? How Speedway racing is in the West right now? Like how it's progressing.
They're killing it, aren't they? They are just killing it. There's so much interest in the venue, so much great racing, so many world-class Americans, so many great young West Aussies like Cal Williamson.
The West Aussies, I like that stuff. Yeah.
So they're doing such a great job. They've got a great impetus going there. Everyone's pumped about it. Kyle Larson saying, hey, how do I get down there now? So they're attracting a lot of attention. People like Rico just drive so much media exposure and interest.
He's a businessman. See what I mean? Like, even like these Aussie drivers should be looking at him. And I feel like there's one like Jordan Charge is really starting to do his stuff. Like, you know what? I should start doing this like a business. And I talked to him about that. I'm like, mate, you got so much opportunity. You're a sprint car driver. You just got to do hot laps and people are interested in you. That's just the way to say, like, go at it, mate.
I think the sport code right across the board is in a really good place, despite what some people say. There's really strong car numbers. There's still a lot of passion out there. There's still people trying to create new events like Jamie Veal and Gavin White and Matt Eastham are doing tonight at the International in Avalon. There's still so much interest. Mandy's series, the All-Stars, is rocking as well.
I like that the All-Stars coming back. That's awesome.
Pro Speedcar Week. There's so many good things. So, mate, it's all rocking. I'm very positive about the future of the sport.
Zach, yes. Brent, yes, he comes and calls the race in Iowa called the Knoxville Nationals, brother. Brent, also, thanks for the 5 YouTube memberships again, you legend. Wade, what solo riders do you see being up and coming in Australia, or maybe world champ?
Oh, the world champ thing's so hard. Jack Holder is he was world number 4. He had injuries this year. Otherwise, he'd probably been world number 2 and maybe given Bardos something to think about. So Jack Holder is definitely the guy. Max Frick is pretty well wrapped up the Australian Championship, his 4th Aussie title. He's a hell of a wheeler. Jamin Lidsey looks phenomenal at the moment as well. Brady Kurtz won last night at Mildura, did a fantastic job. So you got so many Aussie internationals at riding over there and doing a great job. But I think Jack Holder is probably the cream of the crop right now and maybe can emulate his brother's 2012 World Championship in the next couple of years.
This is from Mr. Bin Chicken. Where do you think Parramatta Speedway would sit in the speedway scene if it was still open today? Like if it was booming prior to COVID with lots of interest from lots of the big drivers, it would still be the same, you think?
Yeah, there was something special about that place. It really was. Like just purpose-built racetrack, hooky clay, although dry slick sometimes as well. Incredible location, phenomenal culture behind it. It just was in the wrong part of the world when the world got busy around that area. Parramatta become one of the biggest, most fastest growing regions in Sydney. So it would still be absolutely rocking. But you know what? Parramatta, the venue was tired. It was old.
It was old. Like for me, it's like Granville is old. So that's like that's what you say. You say, yeah, like my nan used to call it. I used to go with my nan every week. She used to sit in the same spot, just in front of the commentary box, down up from the podium, like where the old drivers used to come for their trophies and that every week. Got the program right, or like your grandma used to do for you.
Yeah.
She did that, and I still got some of those books. I had to keep them. I couldn't throw them away because I used to see her write them. But yeah, like the grandstand never changed. It's the same. The hill was the same, but like
the venue was tired. The racetrack was great, but the venue was tired. It needed something. So
maybe. Could you imagine $40 million going into that place? That would have been awesome.
Anyway, Barry Waldron spent a lot of money at that venue anyway over the years.
Yes, he did.
Not necessarily look like it, so it was a tough deal.
Barry's done a lot too. He was even trying to save Speedway City at the time. So
huge amount. Yep.
Yeah. Tyrone, I already asked him about the Nash boys. He loves them. Good blokes. Some of the boys, simple questions. Who's going to win the Classic this year, Wade?
First car across the line, Code.
Very good answer. That's something I'd say. It's
There
not
is
about the
no
lap
way-
time, it's who finishes first. That's what I
No,
say.
there's no way you can pick that.
Well, I've actually
Brock would
done.
be a screaming favourite, no doubt about that. But you got Sheldon coming back, you got Brock looking phenomenal, you got Veely right in the job, you got J Mac. Honestly, don't even.
My prediction is I've told the boys. I said Jock Goodyear is winning one of them.
Yep.
Right, that's the one, and I think it's going to be Australian title. That's what I've said. Because, like, obviously, less American drivers.
Rico could win it too, the Classic. You never know, mate.
Oh, he's a freak.
Anybody could win that. That's the best part about it.
Wade, yeah, the boys said which was Wade's favourite driver in any class. Is there one driver that you just love watching every time he's on the racetrack?
Jack Hordenchild.
Yeah.
It's just not even a
wild chap.
Yeah.
He I remember the ones he came to Parramatta in the Indy parts. It was near the end.
Yeah.
Freak.
He did.
And then he come up, talk to Gary and that when we were in the pits, and just the brain on the man, how. Like I said, when I've worked in with the pits with Jordan and Gaz and stuff, and I didn't know much. I was just a fan before that, and I went in and learned as much as I can. But when you get a guy like even Donny Schatz or Jack Hudenshield come up, and even Gary gets in his nerd sprint car words, this, and they start using their hands. That's how sprint car drivers talk, and this and this and that. And this conversation, I was like, these blokes could work for NASA.
Jack just had balls, mate. That's passion and balls.
The name says it all. You don't get a name for no reason like that, yeah.
When we in a few weeks' time, mate, we should do this again and have a bit of a chat when all these big races and stuff are
100% Wade, I agree with that.
I got to go and have this production meeting with these guys about the drag racing weekend.
I agree. We're finishing up anyway. I appreciate that. Last thing, remember, guys, follow Wade's pages. Wade Aunger Photography, Wade Aunger, Methanol Moonshine on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Go get it. There's some at the Classic as well. I'm definitely going to try that at Fan Appreciation Day.
Yeah, make sure you come up and we try some, all right?
Yeah, definitely. Remember, Wade, you're going to be seeing me in the Classic with a microphone. I'm taking my own stuff, so I'm going to be in everyone's face as well. So hope to even get you on that YouTube video and the vlog yourself. But yeah, appreciate your time, mate. You're an absolute legend, and never stop doing what you do. Never stop being real as well.
Well, I will one day because you get too old. But I'm loving what I'm doing right now. So, and my boy Liam's doing a great job. So, thank you for your interest, Code. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you at the Classic next week, eh?
Yes, and we need some Wade Hub shirts, eh? I'll turn it up. That was some of the boys there. Oh, love it. All right, Wade. Thanks for your time, mate. Absolute legend.
Good,
see you at the Classic.
Sounds good, mate.
See you, mate. Well, gentlemen, I am here somewhere. Where are we? Oh my God, I am gone. Brio, activate. There we are, I'm back. Boys, I'm back. There we go, we're back. Oh my God, get rid of that. Wow, what an interview. What a guy. The only words we can say is legend. I appreciate his time, his effort. He's going to dinner. He's calling the drag cars tomorrow. Just what I expected, realness. He's a real dude, so I can't thank him enough for that, the opportunity. Little old code man got that, so I appreciate his time as well. Legend, that was epic. Yeah, no, it's just real as it gets, and that's what I expected. I didn't expect anything less, and definitely just heard it. We're going to chat again after the Classic and get our thoughts, and hopefully I can link up with him at the Classic in my vlogging, and hope you guys are watching along with everything we do over the Classic and the Australian title. Just absolutely wrapped with that. Yeah, just a great bloke. Like I said, we've probably spoke before at Speedway, but he probably doesn't even remember me. But yeah, awesome. Wow. How's Avalon going, guys? We had, if you guys are still on here, we had a competition going at Avalon for has the heat racing started yet at Avalon? We said if you pick the top three, in no order, before the start of heat race number 1, we had a chance to win some shirts tonight. What a bloody top-notch live stream. What a way to boost the channel. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Hey, it was more like, you know, man, like if I can get anyone on here that loves Speedway just as much as you guys and me, Even if it's a driver, if it's not. What else? Like, that's the people we want on this channel. And they're the people that I love to talk to as well. So, yeah, that was really fun. Make sure you guys have liked that up, eh? Make sure you guys have liked the stream up. Done everything possibly you can. Wow. Yeah, and again, guys, you also gifted on that. I appreciate that so much, man. Like, Ollie, what is that? Ollie and Brent, another 10 gifted membership badges, and Declan sent one. Declan, you absolute legend. I got your question in. I don't even think he was in there. I think Declan left when we got his question. That was crazy. So, but I love it. I love you guys' support as well. Oh, taken back there. That was mad. That was good. Remember, guys? Good job. Thanks, guys. Oh, guys, also on another note, if my phone's still alive, I did drop an F-bomb in there, but we'll get better. Look at this, boys. Tonight, at the Speedway, we had our very own Jack Whitworth at the Speedway in a CWO shirt, and he even got it on camera. I don't even think he meant it. I don't even think he meant it. But look at that in the background. CWO shirt. Up the Jackie! Let's go! Several F-bombs, no way. I swear I only did like 2 maybe. Dean Neal next. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Share the heck out of the stream. Hey, you guys in America, please share it out of the stream as well. Share the heck out of it. It's already shared that I did it, so I appreciate everyone's support. And yeah, you guys are the ones pushing this channel. I just put my face here, and hopefully I make it good enough for you guys to watch. But without you guys, wouldn't do anything. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Wow. Heard that Tyrone bloke would do an interview. Yeah. Maybe we can talk to him after how Sydney Sweeney went last night. But anyway, guys, I'm jumping off. If you guys just want to talk, text and message me. I'm not going to play tonight. We're going to just do a solo stream, mate. Appreciate that. What about the interview with Paul Morris? Hey, that'd be all right. That'd be really good, actually. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that. The founder of Night of Thunder after Aunger. My. Oi, Ollie, if I could try hook that up, that'd be great. I could ask that mean 150 questions later. You could have. You could have. I got solid last night. Awesome. All right, guys, I'm jumping off. I'll be back Sunday night for another live stream, and we're going to whack out like maybe 3 to 4 streams in a row. My last video, like PlayStation stream, will be Wednesday night, because Thursday night I'm getting prepared and packed to go to the Classic 4 a.m. Friday morning. And I'm aiming to have my first Classic video out Saturday morning after that night. I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to aim for not morning, around lunchtime to before the afternoon, before I start filming again. That's when I'm going to drop my Classic video. I'm going to try to do a pit walk. I don't know if that's live or not. It might be just a quick video I edit up, real cut of night 1 at the Classic. Just a quick pit walk. So we'll see how that goes. Well, yeah, appreciate everyone. Talk to you on Sunday night. Hope the Speedway goes well. And I'm picking, I haven't even watched it, I'm going to pick Aaron Reitzel to win it tonight at Avalon. And I don't even know, Callum Williamson will win again in Perth. That's who I'm picking. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Cheers.